G'day, it's Simon at South OC Cars and Coffee. Hey, no James this morning. He's actually over in Vegas. So I'm going to give you a walk through the show. And boy, we got some pretty cool stuff here today. We have a Resvani Porsche that I saw driving around the streets a few weeks ago and was like, what is that? We've got a Carrera GT as well, a stack of amazing cars. So much to see. Hey, don't forget, if you come into South OC Cars and Coffee, please remember, respect our rules. No speeding, no revving, no burnouts. That includes on the streets of San Clemente and getting off those freeways. Let's go for a walk and check some stuff out. All right, great morning this morning. As I mentioned, we got my Camaro sitting here next to it. Let's check this thing out. We have got this beautiful Carrera GT. These cars are so timeless and so classic. Really, Porsche's first hypercar back in the day, also known as the Widowmaker, because they are a handful to drive, particularly when the tyres are old or cold. But, you know, I love these cars. They still look so current. They still look so beautiful. You know, you can see the influence of the shape of this car from 911s and then this onto the later model 918 as well. The sound of these things, the V10 in this thing, when it revs, just an absolutely beautiful, beautiful car. All right, next to it, something I've seen driving around the streets locally a few times. This is an amazing Resvani RR1. Now, they do a couple of versions of this based on the 992 Turbo. They do one basically based on the 2020 to present, which is 600 horsepower. It's got that 3-litre flat six, and then they do one, the 21 to present, which is actually 750 horsepower with a 3.8 litre flat six turbo. So the thing about this car that's absolutely incredible is that back end. You can just see that it's pays real homage to that 1970s 935 Porsche, which had such an iconic back end. You can see that sort of 992 taillights tucked back in there, and even those rear brake lights in there, but they've just wrapped everything around it so beautifully to make it look so purposeful and as if it came from the factory that way. Love the wheels, absolutely beautiful. The interior, obviously, it's just also been given that sort of martini colour scheme in there as well, which looks really, really nice. Steering wheel's got a touch of RR1 written on it. But just look at those front wheels as well, and down at the front. This is a very, very, very pretty car. Certainly caught my eye the other day when I saw it on the road, because it looks so different, that back end, but just getting a ton of eyes on it here at South OC Cars and Coffee today. You know, these special cars that we get here, these older cars, for me, that's what makes it all worthwhile. This is a Lamborghini. You know, when we think of Lamborghinis in this era, we tend to think of the Miura, which of course was the first mid-engined supercar. This Lamborghini here, the Espada, I think that's pronounced, we'll check with the owner in a minute, is a little different from that. It's more of a GT style car. You can see from the look of it as well, but just really pretty. Look at the inside of this. That beautiful wood grain dashboard with full instrumentation in there and those leather seats. This car obviously looks like it is unrestored. It is wonderful. The front end on it, you can see that influence, that Bertoni design influence. It looks like the Fiats from that era, the Alfa Romeos, except it doesn't obviously have that section in the grille. The Maseratis of that era. It's just such a pretty, pretty car. You can imagine this doing some grand tour through the Italian Riviera. It is just absolutely special. The gentleman that owns it is standing over here, and we might try and catch up with him about the car, and we may make this car of the week as well. Now, I don't want to give away too much because we are going to make this car of the week, but have a look under the hood. This is just a Lamborghini at its absolute most finest. Have a look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dual throat side draft Webers. I mean, this thing is never going to run short on fuel. I got to ask the question, how many gallons per smile do you get with this car?
I get a lot, man. I just
down the hill, right?
It's just when I gas it, just the sound of this engine just is unbelievable.
It is pretty. We're not going to talk about it too much because we're going to make this car of the week. I love this car, and it is so special. Right, we'll come back and talk about it afterwards. And by the way, a little bit of a tip. I've just learnt that name means the actual sword that they kill the bull with in the bullfight. So we'll be back. Big fan of these. I just love all those early R32, R33, R34 in this case. There's just something about these cars. You know, in Australia, these would actually not reveled the way they are here. Young guys would literally get their license at 16, maybe by the time they're 18, they'd buy this as their second car. and they weren't expensive. And yet now over here in particular, because they didn't bring them in, now they've opened up the laws a little bit. But you can see right-hand drive, obviously, because it's come in from Japan. But I would personally take this car over an R35. I know an R35 technically is more capable. I know it's new and all that sort of stuff. But for me, this era, in the Supras, in the GTRs, for me, I want an inline six. The V6 is, it's nice, it's fast and all of that. But that's the heart and soul of, in my opinion, what all of these GTRs were, is an inline six. That RB26 is one of the top 3 inline six motors I think that's ever been built. Just a very, very special car. You know, there's still something really classy about an Aston Martin. And this one is just, it's really spec beautifully. I mean, look at the carbon fibre that's here. That V12, I kind of like the Astons, the DBS, because it has a V12. The models using Vantage, using the AMG V8, I'm sure it's more reliable and all that sort of thing, but there's something to me, I want a V12 if I'm going to drive an Aston Martin. The interior in this thing is just absolutely beautiful, that sort of kind of burnt orange in there, but this British racing green just looks absolutely wonderful, offset by the carbon fibre there, carbon fibre here, and these wheels with the orange detail in there to match the interior and the orange stripe on the side. This has been really lovely spec. I mean, look at the carbon underneath the hood, that dry carbon. Very pretty car. Turnout today, overflow lot, full as well. Now, we love clubs at South OC Cars and Coffee, and we always invite them. If you want to come in early as a club, let us know in advance. We'll bring you in like we did these guys in the Continental Club and the Corvette Club. You'll see in a moment as well. This car is so iconic. I think the Continental, for me, it literally changed the design shape or design that what American auto builders were doing. If you looked at General Motors, if you looked at Chrysler, if you looked at manufacturers in this sort of era a little bit before in the late 50s, they were still doing bubble tops. They were still doing cars that were like we'd been used to seeing in the 40s and 50s with the bubble top. It was the Lincoln Continental that came along and provided that stretched out straight line and changed the landscape of auto design in the US. There's so many little things about it. The suicide doors on the back, for example, really, really iconic. They're just pretty great wheels on this one there, and this one as well. Have a look at that. So they've made, they actually look like alloy wheels with a center hubcap, but they look like the original hubcaps in there, which is super cool. Same with this one over here. Very, very nice and clean underneath that. Look at that, it's just beautifully done. Nice interior in this one as well. Just wonderful. Over here, this is interesting. So what have we got going over here? So this looks like it's had actually had an LS transplant into this one. So the purists will be cringing because it's obviously a GM engine that's underneath there, but hey, it's given a ton of power, I guess, and it's made it reliable. And I love the way they put all the Lincoln sort of decals and name on it, which is pretty cool. And then rolling through down this way as well. So a great lineup, and what a way to end on the last Lincoln. Oh, actually no, there's more over here as well. So another one over here and another one over here as well. Very nice. Great to have so many more exotics companies involved with South OC Cars and Coffee. Welcome to Jungle Exotics. They're actually Orange County's exclusive car rental company. So if you want to grab yourself a Rolls Royce for the weekend, or what have we got over here? A Corvette, Ferrari. These are the guys that see Jungle Exotics. And of course, make sure to go and check out the guys at European Exotic Centre. These guys have got a showroom, a dealership at the end of the outlets, and they have things like this. Have a look at this. This is not something you see every day. This is a Ferrari with 4 doors. Very special car. Everybody tried to call this an SUV when it came out. It is not an SUV. Think of this like something like a 599 or remember the old F12, for example. I say old, it's only a few years old now, but that era of front engine V12, that's this that you want to take 2 of your friends with and not have to get down so low to get it in. It's not an SUV, it is a high performance sports car with 4 seats in there. So very, very cool. Hey, while we're at it, look at this Porsche that's just leaving us here. This thing's a bit of an animal, isn't it? Got the roll cage there, great color as well. It's a little touch of carbon here. Very cool.
My house, levitating now, I'm super duper fly now. London boy, but DC where I reside now. Put the time in while you always yelling time out. And for quit it, cause I know I'm coming with it.
Saw this little speedster pull in earlier and was talking to the owner, standing over here. It's just such a pretty colour combination. The grey, the slate grey, steel wheels, nice hubcaps. But what I love is the offset of this sort of darker red interior and dash with the grey brought in. Really pretty instrumentation. Just it did that era of Porsche. I don't know, there's something about it. Such a pretty car. Just classic, timeless, great colour scheme, very simple design. Just great on every angle.
Tell me where they at though. I'm the new.
So a couple of cars here, they're actually kits, but over here you can see this Daytona complete over here. This one here is partially way through completion, about a year apart, in fact he was just saying. So if you look at this, obviously no body on it. So you can imagine it's a great way to see how these cars get built up from scratch. It is not for the faint-hearted. There is a lot of detail, like any car needs to have to both be functional, to be safe, obviously of course reliable as well. But it gives you an interesting perspective to be able to stand back and look at these two. Now, obviously, Superformance is the company that sponsors this show. They build 100% complete and also authenticated by Shelby Cobras. So this, for example, is a Superformance car. This is a car when you go there and you go on, I want this thing to be as close to an original as possible, or I want it to be super high performance and incredibly well built. Like look down in there, for example. That's what the guys from Superformance do. So it's just interesting to look. It's a different take on a similar thing. You can build it yourself, or you can go to somebody and buy a car that's actually continuing heritage of the Shelby builds.
Flow like water, so I'm going mainstream.
This gentleman over here is John. He's been one of our volunteers for a long time. In fact, he used to help out the guys at the original Cars and Coffee when it was in Irvine. In the time that I've known John, you've had two Mercedes, you've got the station wagon, and you've got the drop top.
Yeah.
What years are they, John?
The station wagon 85 300 TD. The 560 SL is my newest.
And that's a pretty car. And of course, you've got the Alfa Romeo.
Absolutely.
And then you sold the Pantera.
I did.
Yeah. Now let's be honest about the Alfa. You're a car collector. Did you buy the Alfa Romeo so you could hook wires up to it to the other cars so it could act as a sacrificial anode?
No, it does that all on its own.
It does it on its own?
Yeah.
I'm not going to point that out, but hey, as Jeremy Clarkson once said, you're not a true car guy unless you've had at least one Alfa Romeo, right?
And I've only had about 15.
Oh, really? So how's the treatment going so far? Is it working? Clearly it's not working.
The doctor says eventually I'll be fine.
Yeah, we know when that will be. Mate, thank you for working with us every single week tirelessly. It's
you're
always
welcome.
great to have you here, and that's a pretty car. I love it, mate.
Thank you. Fun car.
Now, I nearly missed this driving out. This is another little Alfa Romeo. I haven't seen them here before. This is a little Carrera, a little tiny car, but I like it because look at the wheels, very traditional Alfa Romeo, the shape of its traditional Alfa Romeo. And of course we come around the front. That is the Alfa Romeo front we've all known and loved for years. I love this car. Now, British Columbia, so it's come down from Canada. That's why I haven't seen one here before, but very nice. Now I mentioned before we had that Continental Club, this is the Corvette Club. Bob brings these guys in every few months. Look how many, this is double road up through here. Now how do we know this is the Corvette Club? Because they're all wearing New Balance and they've all got jean shorts and they've all got Tommy Bahama shirts and they've all got their signs. That's actually a fallacy, it's not true. I'm looking around, I'm not seeing any of those things. But hey, great, what a great mix of cars. We're gonna go down the other row in just a second, but we got new stuff, we got C7s here, we got C6s, fan of a C6. We got early stuff here, look at this is so pretty. There's C1s, there's C2s, there's all of them. LT4 under the hood here. This one actually belongs to Bob. Great car, this has actually got the LS7 in it, so naturally aspirated, 7 litre. Very cool car.
The girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done.
You know, when cars pull into the South, I see Cars and Coffee, we normally ask them to back their cars in. I would never ask this guy to back in because that is the part we want to see. That is the split window in a 1963 Corvette that makes this thing such an iconic car, such a collector's item. Back in 62, full window. This thing comes out and the GM executives were concerned that it was causing a visibility issue, so they got rid of it. Now, these are the cars that people want. So much money. This thing under the hood has a 327 small block Chev. You know, the 350 was the bigger motor that came out, and they're a good motor. The 327, man, that thing sounded good. It really, really revved. The only downside of a 327 was I don't believe you could get them in the early cars with a 4-bolt mains like you could a 350, but it was such a great engine. This is such a great car. This little Toyota Ute, as I would call it, little pickup, is a Toyota Stout. Near and dear to my heart. We had one on our family farm back in Australia, and my brother ended up inheriting it as his first vehicle. He blew that thing up with this little tiny 4-cylinder it had, and he put smokestacks on it, big wheels and a wooden tray. Then he ended up putting a Holden 6-cylinder in it, and then he ended up crashing it, nearly killing himself in it. This thing is so cool. It's so funny. We're starting to see a few of them around. This thing has got a JZ engine in it. So the owner over here was saying it was about 500 horsepower, he thinks. A little more than what they came out with originally. There's some really interesting things about this. He's changed the instrumentation on this. But the original Speedo was like a green ribbon that used to slide up and down, a linear Speedo, not a round style as you would see. But it's a great job in it. And look at the radiator stuck here back at the back. Actually, there is a radiator. No, I see what he's done. So, intercooler at the front, radiator in the back, right? Oh, there we go. Very cool build. And look at the paintwork in the top here as well. That's great. Very cool. Killer looking International Scout here. You know, everybody talks about the Bronco and the Blazer, but there's something about the International Scout that I really like. They're a super cool truck, very capable. I'll ask the driver in a minute what this thing is actually running. A lot of them didn't keep that International motor in there. It was basically a truck motor. It was hard to get a lot of performance out of it. But what I want to point out is have a look at the details in the suspension in this thing. It's got a really nice looking chassis in there. There's straps that are underneath there as well. But all of this is different. All of this has changed through here. Nice looking wheels. What engine's it running?
5.3 LS.
LS 5.3. I didn't think the sound of that. It was the original old International Scout engine. Very cool. So 5.3 litre LS engine, which of course was used in a lot of the Chevy trucks, GMC trucks. Easy to make good horsepower out of them, especially if you throw a big turbo on them. So very cool. Well, that is it for another week at South OC Cars and Coffee. Thank you so much for watching. I want to do a massive thank you to all of our sponsors. We couldn't do the show without them. The Bracketeer, Wear Marketing, Maguire's, Mazda, Next Level Auto Protection, Spark, By Accident Lawyers, Go Mobile Tyre, Sierra Ineos Grenadier, European Exotic Centre, Josh the Auto Buyer, Vor, Hillbank Motor Corporation, and Magnaflow Camberg. I also want to say a massive thank you to all of our volunteers. We could not put on this show without them. Remember, if you want to become a volunteer, hit us up on our South OC Cars and Coffee merch Instagram page. It's where we handle all of our volunteer rosters, and while you're over there, check out some of our crazy new t-shirts, hats, you name it. It's a great place to check that out. If you become a volunteer, you get to bring your car in early, and Ruby's hooked you up with a free coffee and donut as well. I want to say a massive thank you for Ruby's for doing that and feeding the masses, and also a massive thank you to the Outlets of San Clemente for allowing us to be here. We could not do the show without them. So remember, if you want to do any shopping, go to the movies, grab a coffee, whatever, come to the Outlets, tell them South OC Cars and Coffee sent you. Well, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you back here next week for another South OC Cars and Coffee.